Hello and welcome to my channel. Well, I guess you're going to understand this one from the title, which I think is, would you sell your knives to survive? I mean, financially survive. Because when it comes down to it, if you run out of money or you don't have a way of paying for necessary things, it can come to a point where all the things that you've been collecting all your life and enjoying, it's either that or paying rent for the next. Now, some of you don't have to pay rent. You've got a house, you got mortgage and everything. You might have paid that off, good. That's good. But a lot of us are in a situation where if we don't have enough money to cover what's going on, then you have to start looking at assets. I mean, things that you've got. And the problem is with collections, you're not going to get the kind of money you want if you're desperate. If you need the money, I can tell you this from selling guns. A pawn shop's not going to give you anything. If you go to a gun store, maybe if you've got a relationship with the people there, you might be able to get a slightly better deal. But a lot of times, they know you need the money, and they're going to offer you as little as they can to get it. Now, I say this because I've been through this before. I got laid off from Intel, a very good job. I had a 401k, which was supposed to be for right now, my retirement. And I had a choice. I could have paid off my house with my 401k, but that still wouldn't have covered property taxes and everything else, that's due, even if you paid off a house. And at the time, it wouldn't have done any good because I had to take care of my mom. So basically, I left. I sold everything, and I did that just to get by. Now, a lot of the things that I lost through the generosity of a channel, viewer and member and everything, he replaced a lot of what I had been missing. And that's just because he's a very generous person. I mean, it came down on someone else helping me out, because a lot of these things I would have never gotten back. So, a lot of people are facing financial difficulties and everything else. And I know a lot of people have cut back on purchasing more knives or new knives and stuff like that. It depends on your financial situation. Like I said, if you're making like $100,000 a year, you're not going to have any problem. But a lot of us are not, and some people are on fixed incomes. And when you're on a fixed income, man, really, you have to take care of housing. Food is one of the. It's not as big a deal for me because I don't eat that much, but I still have to take care of the cats, and they're picky. So that's where usually I try to come up with money for their food. But again, I'm not asking for help or anything like this. And those of you that do help out and everything, I greatly appreciate it. But I'm just putting this up there to let you guys know that a collection that you love and admire and think you're always going to have, that may not be the case. And you have to face up to the fact of what's more important in your life. And a lot of times, if you've got guns or knives or anything like that, you're going to pare it down. You're going to start realizing that you don't need, if you've got a lot of them, you don't need quite as many, and then becomes the difficult decision. That's why I don't like those. If you could only have one gun, or if you could only have one knife or three knives. I've been through that. I don't like that. It's not fun. To me, it's not a fun exercise to try to figure out what's most important in your collection. I think that's why they're doing that. They're saying, oh, why you've got all these different things, but we want to narrow it down as what's the absolute best. Well, there is no absolute best. There's no absolute best knife. There's no absolute best gun in any category. A lot of it depends on your circumstances, your situations, and what you're using it for. So that's why we have a variety of knives when we collect a lot of times. And people that collect things get into, I do. I get into, oh, well, this one's good, What about that one? Well, they're very similar. They're made by the same company. The blade itself is probably exactly the same as the other one. The only difference is slight. There's a slight difference. And that difference is appearance. Handles, etchings or non-etchings, handle material, but basically you have the same knife. So, if you were forced to decide if you're only going to keep one Granddaddy Barlow or large Barlow, what are you going to do? Well, you're going to make some difficult choices, because whichever one of these, let's say you had to sell one of these two knives. Now, you're not going to get much money because they're Rough Rider, but still, if you had to sell these two right here, which one would you give up? Oh, man. This one was given to me by someone, so I'm not going to sell it. This one I bought. Guess what? This one goes. That's my reasoning. Your reasoning may be something, completely different. But just be prepared, because I can see it coming. I can see what's happening with the economy and why. And people that are blind to what's going on are going to wake up one day with a reality that they've got some major thing that they need to take care of, and nobody's going to help you. You're on your own. But anyways, I don't want this to be too drastic. It's just that, like I said, I've gone through this before, and I have more knives now than I've ever had in my life. I love it. I love having a bunch of different knives, but I also know that I've been through this before, and if it ever came down to it, your best bet is to sell them on your terms. If you get desperate, there's a time factor. By the end of the week, you need this money, or this bill will go past due, or you're going to get evicted, or whatever it is. When it comes down to that situation, when you're desperate for money, you're not willing to negotiate. You are willing to negotiate. You're not going to get the price that you want for everything, and that's just the way it is. So I don't have any really answers for this. It's not a fun game to play, getting rid of your stuff. So if you do it on your own, for your own reason, it's not financial pressure or anything else. You just decide. A lot of people have decided just to pare back their collection because they wanted to, not because of financial reasons. They just decided they don't need as many knives, or they went through this process already, of paring it down and getting rid of things. And it's not fun, let me tell you. For me, it's not fun, because a lot of times, if you get back on your feet and you're getting ready to try to go back and expand your collection, you're going to find that a lot of the knives that you had are no longer available, or they're just priced way much more than you paid for them originally. And it's really hard to do that. Sometimes it's hard to come up with the funds to replace, like $100 knife or something. And you could sit there and look at, well, I can get, like 10 of these lesser knives. And then it all comes down to what you want, and your own particular collecting habits and everything. But that's all I'm saying on this one. I don't want to make it a real long one. I don't want everybody to get depressed. But I mean, a lot of people are going to be faced with that, sooner or later. If you've got a large collection or a hobby of any kind, and there's any money wrapped up into it, when bad times hit financially, what would you rather have? Something in your collection or food on your plate? And if you've got a family, I mean, you already know what it is. The family's going to take more priority than your collection. So, yeah, sorry. I'd like it to be, a happy and super interesting video and everything, but this is just one of those cold hard facts videos that I've gone through before. I've done this little exercise before, and it's not fun. I mean, you can recover. I mean, a lot of these things are just obvious. You have to keep that in mind. No matter how much you've got into them, I would say save the sentimental ones the most. Like guns that I got rid of that my father gave to me or that were my grandfather's. I regret those the most, even though they weren't the most expensive guns. That Colt single action Army that I had, it wasn't even functional. The Colt Lightning. But I wound up selling it for $150. Oh, it's worth more than $150 to me now just to be able to have that gun and look at it. But I had to make a choice at the time. It was either that or bills didn't get paid. And I didn't have an income. So, I was living off my 401k. Well, if you do that before your retirement age or whatever, they're going to tax you. And then they're taking out, they're going to tax you. You lose at least 20% plus owe taxes at the end of the year on the money you just pulled out. So it's a spiral that goes faster and faster. And I survived 5 years with just the money in my 401k, but it gobbled it all up. I mean, it's gone. And when you're retired and you're living off just Social Security, you could use a little extra, a little cushion or whatever. I don't have that. I mean, I don't have that. But again, I'm not asking for anything. I'm just telling you how things go and can go. And if you're fortunate, like you got 5 acres in Independence and you set aside money. I've done all that. I mean, I bought gold when it was $800 an ounce, back in the day. But I wound up where financially we were in hard times, and then what I had left of it, after that, I got a divorce. Half of it went to my ex-wife. So, and yeah, I don't have any gold and silver left anymore, but still, just be prepared for life because it's not always going to go the way you think it is. And your collections, I mean, enjoy them if you can and while you can, no matter what the size. But, just keep in mind all of your assets, whatever you've got. If you've got more than one of them, more than one car, more than one knife, more than one gun, if you get desperate for money, they're going to be on the list. So, yeah, there you go. I mean, I wish I had something positive for you right now. I'll try to come up with something humorous. It's been difficult for me, but I'll try to come up with something. But anyways, yeah, I didn't want this to be a bummer, but yeah, what would you do? Have you ever thought about that? And if you haven't, maybe you want to do it in advance when you're not desperate, because that's when you're going to get your most money. You can put it up on eBay, you can put it up on something, and you can determine it on your own terms. But when you need the money right away, you're not going to get what you want for it. For guns, for example, if you go to a pawn shop, less than half of what it's worth, because whatever they are going to offer you, whatever it's worth, if its value is like $300, the most they're going to offer you is $150. The most. And they'll probably try to talk you down on that. They'll say, well, you got a scratch here, and this isn't this, and you don't have the original factory box and paperwork and all this cardboard sleeve that it came with. It's ridiculous. So, but I made it through that time, so I mean, it's possible to survive it. Anyways, I'm just rambling on. Thank you for watching, and have a nice day.